Australian theatre is celebrating its 200th anniversary this year with performances in Melbourne and Sydney of the very first play ever performed in the colonies, as well as a play about the people who performed the play. Sound complicated? Well, to explain the situation and the tradition, please welcome two of Australian theatre's greatest performers, Helen Morse and Bob Hornery. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
I'm delighted, Helen, particularly that you're with us today because you don't do a lot of these sort of television programs, do you? So I'm honoured. As for you, Mr.
Shy
Hornery,
girl.
yes, you'll do anyone's program.
I'll do anyone's program, but particularly yours, Bert.
Thank you, Bob. Now, you might like to explain to us firstly, this very first play that was done here in Australia, it was done by convicts, right?
It was. It was called The Recruiting Officer, written by an Irishman, George Farquhar, who in fact started life as an actor but quickly retired from that particular aspect of the business because he accidentally stabbed somebody on stage. Took to writing and wrote The Recruiting Officer, and I think it was the only play that they had copies of in the First Fleet, and Philip decided it would be a humanising experience for everyone if they did a production of a play, and convicts in fact performed the characters. And the other play we're doing, Our Country's Good, is based on that event, that of the convicts doing the first production of The Recruiting Officer in the colony.
Right.
It's extraordinary.
Bob, do you think there's any link there in the fact that the very first play done in Australia was done by criminals?
Thank you very much. Not at all, no. But it is interesting, the play, The Recruiting Officer, because it really sends up officers and, you know, the army all the time, said that the convicts were really already, you know, cocking a snoot in doing that particular play. It was the only one available, but I'm amazed that they let them put it on, because it's, apart from anything else, it's very bawdy restoration, you know, and to have the convicts that they're trying to keep pure and simple doing this filthy play, you know, and also sending up officers. I'm amazed that they let them do it, but they did.
After a lifetime in theatre, Bob, do you think that...
A lifetime.
Well, it's all... Well, most of your life you've spent in
I
theatre.
think I am the oldest actor in Australia, apart from Frank Thring, and he wouldn't even admit to that, I don't think.
Yeah, but the one thing you can do that Frank can't do, I mean, you can still almost get to that situation of playing the Juve lead.
Yeah, well, funny you should say that. I am playing a Juve lead here with Helen. Would you believe it? Heavily disguised with a lot of sausage curls and looking like Errol Flynn's mother. I sort of make passionate love to this beautiful lady.
Yeah, so your luck's turned, has it, Helen? At last, a real leading man, eh?
His name is Brazen, of course.
Yes, Brazen, Captain Brazen's great name.
Done any love scenes with Frank Thring? Have you?
No.
Well, you see, I mean,
Bob?
Yes, well, have you on the
No,
fortune?
funnily enough, not.
Never.
No.
Do you think it's as your parents may have told you in all those years gone by, that the theatre is a good, steady job?
Well, it is. Absolutely. I mean, I've had a wonderful life, Bert. A wonderful life. I mean, I've been doing this since 1952, and indeed I have happy memories of working with your lovely wife.
That's right.
Many, many years ago, Patty did Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. We did at the old Tivoli here.
That's right.
Oh, and she was so beautiful and sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And of course she was much prettier than Judy Garland. And I was much prettier than Margaret Hamilton. I played the Wicked Witch.
Oh, did you?
And Kevin Miles was in it. He was playing the Tin Man, singing and dancing.
He doesn't remember that. I've mentioned that a couple of times.
Oh, has he? He's
remember
wiped that out of his mind. Yes, he's a great dramatic actor now.
Was that the pantomime which you had to swing on stage? Or?
I had to fly, that's right, as the Wicked Witch.
Didn't you have an experience there with a couple of boys?
Enormous. Well,
yeah.
It was, you sort of got strapped in with this extraordinary strapping arrangement that went round the crutch and over the shoulders, and then a hook in the back that they attached the wire to, and you swung. You were supposed to just swing once across the stage and then land, but the stage hands were pretty wild in those days with the Tiv, and so, you know, when they felt like it, they'd swing you right round the stage and then leave you dangling in the middle with in great agony, which the audience thought was wonderful, and the stagehands roared about, but believe me, it wasn't too good.
What were those kids like to play to?
Oh, they're wonderful. Kids always are the best audience, aren't they,
Yes.
Helen?
But as I recall at pantomimes, they never shut up.
No, I know, but that's great. They shut up. They're honest, unlike adults. You know, they're really honest about their reaction. I mean, for example, in Somewhere Over the Rainbow, a pin would drop while she sang that song. She sat in the footlights, I'll never forget, you know, on the edge of the stage and sang Somewhere, beautiful.
Back in those years, did her mum walk up and down the aisle making sure the kids keep quiet? Helen, I'm told you do some magic. Now, is this true?
I wouldn't go that far. One of the productions we've done this year at the MTC was The Cherry Orchard, and I played a rather eccentric character, Charlotta, who was a governess, but also, because of her background, something of a magician. And I had to learn a couple of little tricks to achieve some sort of credibility. And Ross Skiffington, whom you may know, is the most wonderful, I mean, a true master magician. And he taught me a couple of little things.
We've got to see him. We have got to see him, haven't we, Bob?
We certainly have.
I don't know whether I can actually do... It's quite difficult. Usually everyone has to be in front of you.
We'll be in front of you.
Yes, go right away, yes, go
anywhere
away.
you'd like us to be.
Well, I can do, like, just a little disappearing card trick.
Would that make it easier?
Need an
I'll get
audience.
across here.
Where should I be? Here?
Well, wherever you want to be. You just, whatever you want, we'll do for you. Is it easier if you're out front?
What about here?
Right.
And there's the card. Which isn't...
Isn't that?
Darling, that's all right. That was wonderful.
Very, very good. I mean, not good enough to stay there for the whole show. I'll get that. No. What's the other one?
Oh, there's a couple of other... Well, there's a little scarf knotting trick. I mean, I haven't done this for a while now. I feel a bit...
And she can also make people disappear.
Best be careful.
That's just... You have a tie knot in the scarf and then...
Isn't that great? Helen, I guess the question that's always asked of you is, in recent times, I mean, you really were, at one stage of the game, I mean, so far as women were concerned, you were the motion picture industry here in Australia. But now you've moved away from movies to do theatre. Is it because of the old story of your first love is theatre?
Well, I certainly, like most actors, started working in the theatre, and I have always loved it. I mean, I think, ideally, you like to work in all mediums. But round about the time that I got some wonderful offers for the stage that I wanted to do, and they've just kept on coming. And at the same time, the film scripts around were not very good.
Not the best.
So I had the opportunity to work in the theatre, which I've always loved doing. So that's just the situation.
And the better and more handsome leading men, of course, are in the theatre, aren't they?
God,
as you well know. Got one trick to go out on?
Have you got anything left, Helen? You can make me disappear.
No, I don't think... Oh, there's another scarf trick, but I sort of really need to be standing up for this one.
Well, stand up, Papa, come on.
Stand up.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that great?
And on that note, would you please thank Helen Morse and Bob Hornery. Great to see you both. Thank you, Helen. Thanks, Bob. Great seeing you. And after this break, Gina Jeffrey is going to have a go at you-know-who about home interest rates. We're back with you soon.